Welcome to my YouTube channel Timeless Tales. The snow fell gently through the amber glow of the streetlights, creating a magical winter evening in the heart of the city. Each flake danced slowly downward, landing softly on the shoulders of those brave enough to venture outside on such a cold December night. James Mitchell pulled his navy wool coat tighter as he walked hand in hand with his 6-year-old daughter, Emma. The little girl wore a pink winter jacket and a white knitted hat that made her look like a tiny snow angel. Her small hand was warm in his leather gloves as they made their way home from the Christmas market downtown. "Daddy, look how pretty the snow looks," Emma said, her breath creating small clouds in the frosty air. "It's like tiny stars falling from the sky." James smiled down at his daughter. Even after 2 years of being a single father, moments like these still filled his heart with both joy and a gentle ache. Emma had such a beautiful way of seeing the world, always finding magic in the simplest things. They had spent the evening browsing the holiday market, sharing hot chocolate and watching the ice skaters glide across the outdoor rink. It was one of their favorite traditions, just the two of them creating new memories together. As they walked along the tree-lined path through the small park near their neighborhood, Emma suddenly stopped walking. Her small hand tugged on James's arm. "Daddy, wait," she whispered, her voice filled with concern. James followed her gaze to a park bench just ahead of them. Through the falling snow, he could see a figure huddled on the wooden seat. It was a young woman, probably in her 20s, with long blonde hair that caught the light from the nearby street lamp. She wore a beige coat that looked thin against the winter cold, and a red scarf was wrapped around her shoulders like a small shield against the bitter wind. The woman appeared to be sleeping, her head resting against the back of the bench. Her arms were crossed tightly against her chest, and she was shivering even in her sleep. The snow had begun to gather on her coat and in her hair, creating a heartbreaking scene that made James's chest tighten with concern. "Daddy, why is she sleeping here?" Emma asked quietly, her young voice filled with innocent worry. "Doesn't she have a home to go to?" James knelt down beside his daughter, choosing his words carefully. Emma had such a tender heart, and he wanted to help her understand without frightening her. "Sometimes, sweetheart, people don't have a warm place to sleep," he explained gently. "It can happen for many different reasons. But what matters is that we help when we can." Emma looked up at her father with those bright, trusting eyes that reminded him so much of her mother. "Can we help her, Daddy? She looks so cold." James felt a familiar warmth spread through his chest. This was exactly the kind of person he was raising Emma to be, someone who noticed when others were hurting and wanted to make things better. He approached the bench slowly, not wanting to startle the young woman. As he got closer, he could see that she was indeed shivering, and her lips had taken on a concerning blue tint. This wasn't just someone taking a quick rest, this was someone who had nowhere else to go on one of the coldest nights of the year. "Excuse me," James said softly, his voice gentle but clear enough to wake her. The woman stirred slowly, her eyes opening with the cautious wariness of someone who had learned to be careful about trusting strangers. She was younger than he had first thought, probably barely 25, with tired green eyes that held both vulnerability and strength. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, starting to gather herself as if to leave. "I wasn't bothering anyone. I can move along. Please, don't apologize," James said, holding up his hand in a peaceful gesture. "My daughter and I were just concerned about you being out here in this weather. Are you all right?" The woman looked between James and Emma, and something in her expression softened when she saw the little girl's worried face. "I'm Sarah," she said quietly. "And honestly, I've been better." Emma stepped forward, her small hand reaching into her pink coat pocket. She pulled out a pair of red mittens that matched her scarf. "Here," Emma said, offering them to Sarah. "These will help keep your hands warm." Sarah's eyes filled with tears as she looked at the simple gesture of kindness from this small child. She accepted the mittens with trembling hands. "That's very sweet of you," Sarah whispered. "But I can't take these from you. My daddy always says that sharing makes everything better," Emma replied with the simple wisdom that only children possess. James watched this exchange and felt his heart make a decision that his mind quickly supported. He had built a successful consulting business, owned a comfortable home with guest rooms, and more importantly, he had been taught by his own parents that helping others wasn't just nice, it was necessary. "Sarah," he said gently, I know we just met, and I understand if this seems strange. But no one should be sleeping outside in weather like this. My daughter and I have a warm house not far from here. Would you like to come home with us tonight? Just until the weather clears and you can figure out your next step." Sarah looked at him with surprise and something that might have been hope. "I couldn't impose on you like that. You don't even know me." "That's true," James admitted. "But sometimes the best thing we can do is trust our instincts about people. And my instincts tell me you're someone who just needs a little help getting back on your feet." Emma nodded enthusiastically. "We have hot chocolate at home, and extra blankets, and Daddy makes really good pancakes for breakfast." Despite everything, Sarah found herself smiling at Emma's innocent enthusiasm. There was something about this little family that felt safe and genuine. "I don't know what to say," Sarah said, her voice thick with emotion. "Say yes," Emma said simply. "Because that's what people do for each other." As they walked toward James's home, Sarah found herself between father and daughter, Emma chattering excitedly about their evening at the Christmas market while James listened with the patient attention of a loving parent. The snow continued to fall around them, but now it felt less like a harsh winter storm and more like nature's way of bringing three people together at exactly the moment they all needed it most. Sometimes, James reflected as they reached his front door, the most beautiful parts of life happen when we choose to see beyond ourselves and extend our hands to help someone else stand up. And sometimes, those moments of kindness create connections that change everyone involved in ways they never could have imagined. Thanks for watching these type of stories.